Top 10 Most Dangerous Volcanoes in the World. Volcanic eruption has been one of the most devastating activities that have been crippling development and often bringing technological advancements down to its knees. Although they are interesting to watch from afar, how the hot reddish magma boils its way up to the top and then spills over as lava, it is definitely something you don't want to be close to when it's happening. If you have wondered what the most dangerous volcanoes are, then this video will get to know the top 10 most dangerous volcanoes, lava in the world. Number 1. Yellowstone National Park in the United States. This is the most dangerously eruptive volcano, which brings about 3 million visits every year from the tourists. It is known to be a supervolcano, which is stronger than a typical volcano. This means that the destruction it can cause is far worse than a normal volcano. The last time it is known to have erupted was about 64,000 decades ago. The very first time it showed its great volcanic abilities was about 2 million years ago. If it were to erupt today, it is able to destroy roughly 87,000 lives on the spot because of the hot magma, volcanic ash and the harmful gas it would emit. Number 2. Mount Vesuvius in Italy. This is the other most famous active volcanic mountain in the English mainland. It is found in the Naples Bay, which are a few meters away from the shore. It has been erupting after every 20 years, although it has defaulted the last expected eruption, as it is now more than 2 decades since it last blasted out. The last time it erupted was back in 1944, where it started off with lava flowing off its caldera. Then 3 days later, a huge eruption occurred, creating 8 huge fountains of lava. The last fountain ended a day later and they went as far as 1,000 meters in height. Currently, there is a huge population around the mountain of 3 million people, which could suffer huge destruction if this mountain were to erupt all of a sudden. Number 3. Mount Popocàtepetl in Mexico. This mountain has had one of its most recent eruption, which happened in 2000. It was fortunate that the scientists discovered this before the eruption occurred and were able to save about 41,000 people. Right now, there are about 9 million living within the radius of its eruption who can be really hurt if it were to erupt again. It stands at about 35 miles from the city of Mexico and has had 20 continuous eruptions from 1519. The name of the mountain comes from an interesting love story of a man called Popocàtepetl and Aztec, a princess from Aztec who was to marry an Aztec prince but chose Popocàtepetl instead. Number 4. Mount Sakurajima in Japan. Also referred to as the Vesuvius of the East, going by the high rates of its volcanic activities, Sakurajima is a well-famed active composite volcano. It was once an island, but the eruptions that took place back in 1914 made it join the peninsula of Osumi, making it one land. The eruptions of this mountain increased since 1955 and have recorded a total of 7,300 eruptions within a time frame of 45 years only. It also has low-intensity eruptions taking place each year, throwing off harmful ashes to the nearby areas. But if a huge eruption took place, it would put as many as 700,000 lives in danger. Number 5. Mount Galeras in Colombia. You will find this mountain in the southern part of Colombia along Ecuador borders. This mountain that has been erupting time after time for close to 1 million years now. Its very first eruption was recorded in 7th December in 1580. Later it kicked off again in 1988 after being dormant for just a little while. There was an eruption that occurred around this period that took the lives of 5 people, 3 of them being scientists and the rest were tourists. From 2000, it has been erupting each year and has claimed so many lives of those camped near it, up until now. Number 6. Merapi in Indonesia. This is the most eruptive volcano in Indonesia, tracing its activities from 1548. It is called the Fire Mountain due to its frequent volcanic activities. You will find it between Yogyakarta and Central Java in the country of Indonesia. Although there have not been any huge eruptions in the recent past, there is always tiny eruptions that are seen in a time range of about 3 years. The huge eruptions usually come after 10 years, and sometimes 15 years. These eruptions are said to have been the main reason why the kingdom of the Hindus in Indonesia called Merapi was completely destroyed. Number 7. Mount Nyiragongo in Democracy Republic of Congo. This mountain claims a place among the most eruptive mountains in the continent of Africa. You will get it close to Goma town in eastern parts of Democratic Republic of Congo. It has set a total of 34 records of eruptions since the year 1882. Most of these eruptions were happening very frequently, with one eruption following the other. The last time it went off was in 2002, the 17th of January, to be more specific. On this occasion, the lava from the mountain flowed and buried almost a half of the town of Goma. There were a little over 100,000 people who were forced to evacuate the place after the eruption. This comes to about a quarter of the whole population of the town of Goma, as it has about 500,000 people cumulatively. Number 8. Mount Alan in New Guinea. This is the highest mountain in the volcanic arc of Bismarck. The mountain consists of tephra together with lava. It started erupting about 3 centuries ago and has had 22 eruptions up to date. The centermost part of the crater is where the eruptions come from. And the last eruption actually made modifications to the crater because of its great force. The most recent eruption came in 2010, which spitted ash out to about 3,700 meters in height and 95 kilometers in width. Number 9. Mount Tal in the Philippines. This mountain is placed on Luzon Island in the Philippines, which is a distance of about 50 kilometers from the capital city, Manila. Until now, it has caused almost 6,000 deaths, giving it the title of the most dangerous mountain in the Philippines. 1911 was the most terrible activity recorded for this mountain. It claimed more than 1,000 people lived and left deposits that had high amounts of sulfur. It spit fire up to the year 1977. After that, there were minor eruptions which went to 1991. There are no visible and potentially harmful activities seen on it over the past few years. Number 10. Mount Mauna Loa in Hawaii. This mountain has a shield-like shape because it has very fluid lava, much more fluid than other mountains, making it flow for long distances and become a huge threat to people living nearby. It has been having eruptions for more than 700,000 years now, with its last eruption having occurred in 1984. The volcanic activity during this time went for almost a whole month, and this makes one of the many reasons why scientists want to study it closely together with other highly eruptive mountains.